I love this method because it's so approachable. It removes the pressure to be constantly inspirational or educational. It lets you be a whole person, which is something I preach constantly. Your content should reflect your leadership, not just your industry. Welcome to Your Audience is Waiting, the show where we turn your vision into visibility and your content into customers. I'm your host, Alicia Everett, and if you've ever felt like you're doing all the things online, but still not seeing the growth or engagement you deserve, you're in the right place because your audience is already out there. They want to hear from you, and together, we're going to make sure they do. So let's dive in. So let me tell you a quick story. I was on Instagram one day doing the thing that we pretend we don't do, scroll, and I landed on a post from Shannon McIntyre. Now, if you don't know who she is, make sure you go check her out. She is at Shannon McIntyre on Instagram. She's a brilliant marketer, but she was breaking down something that she calls the 4-H method. And I'm like, 4-H method? What is that? And y'all, I stopped. I literally said, okay, now wait a minute. This is brilliant. And she took something that honestly confuses a lot of people and turned it into a format that gives you freedom to create. Not pressure, not another system that makes you feel boxed in, but a rhythm that actually makes sense. And what I really loved, even though Shannon is known for reels, you need to check it out. Okay. But this method goes way beyond reels. I'm talking content in your email list, your podcast, your stories, your website, your thought leadership post on LinkedIn. Like it's flexible like that. And that moment stuck with me because it reminded me of how powerful frameworks are when they're done right. We talked about this recently how the right framework doesn't just help you post more, it helps you think better, lead better, and communicate more clearly. Because let's be honest, when you don't know what to say, you either overthink, overshare, or disappear altogether. And none of that serves your audience or your business. We're trying to grow our business, we're trying to reach our audience, and none of that serves it. So today, I want to break down 3 frameworks I keep coming back to, the ones that have changed the way I help clients grow their online presence and the way I lead in my own. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say I am a sucker for frameworks. I think in frameworks, I think in diagrams and pictures, and call it what you will, but it's a framework. That's all it really is. The 3 frameworks I'm referring to is the 4-H method, the StoryBrand framework, and the one I created for myself, the PACE method. And I want to make sure I share that with you because it has truly freed me up when it comes to creating content and helping clients grow their online presence. Let's dive right in. Okay, so let's start with the 4-H method because this is the one that relit my content fire when I needed it most. 4-H stands for heard, helpful, humor, and happenings. So, heard is you want to speak to what your audience is already thinking. This is your I get you content. I see you, I hear you, and you're using the exact language that will be from your audience, right? Because we are doing social listening, we're paying attention to reviews, we are having conversations, we're doing all of those things so that we can make sure they understand that we hear them when we show up in our content. And then helpful is the second one. This gives them something tangible like tips, behind the scenes, insights, step by step guidance. You are there, you're being helpful, you're sharing all the tips and tricks that you have experienced, that you have seen success from, that your customers, your clients have all seen success from. You are showing them how to do it for themselves. And then humor. Let your personality breathe. You are a wonderful person. You're funny, or maybe you're not funny and you're more serious, but funny people need people who are serious. We all have a purpose. And that's something that people can connect to, not robots. We all know and we love AI, but people cannot connect to AI. People still need people. People still need you and they're searching for you. And then the last one is happenings. You're talking about what's happening now, whether it's a new offer, it's a lesson from this week, it's a life update, it's something that's happening in your industry, in your city, your town. It's things that's happening now. I love this method because it's so approachable. It removes the pressure to be constantly inspirational or educational. It lets you be a whole person, which is something I preach constantly. Your content should reflect your leadership, not just your industry. And like I said, it doesn't stop at Reels. I use 4H thinking across my entire online presence. So if you need a content rhythm that gives you direction, without feeling like a box, 4H is it for you. It's a way that you can think about your content when you're faced with the question of, I'm about to prepare my content for the next month. What am I going to talk about? Or the next 2 weeks, or the next week if you do it weekly. Or if you're a marketer or social media manager, you can use this for your clients as well. It gives you a framework to think through and it takes away the overwhelm and it really makes things more clear for you. Next up is a framework I've been using since before I even realized I was using it. It's StoryBrand by Donald Miller. And if you've not read his book, you need to run to go get it. It really dives into StoryBrand and why it exists, why it works, and it also gives you examples. And there's an entire podcast that talks all about StoryBrand. And you're going to hear that across many marketing podcasts as well, I'm sure. It's an infamous framework, but it does a really, really great job of helping you clarify your message, identify your audience, and it gives you language to what you're offering. So here's the gist. Your audience is the hero. You are the guide. They have a problem. You offer a solution. You give them a plan. They succeed or they don't. And that failure is what we want to help them avoid. Capiche? So, StoryBrand helps you shift your messaging from look how great I am to here's how I help you win. It forces you to simplify, and clarity, as we all know, is kindness. We have to be kind to ourselves, but we also must be kind to our audience. Now, I do use this in how I structure client messaging when I'm creating lead magnets, websites, captions, even how I pitch myself. If someone can't repeat what you do after hearing it once, you're making it too hard. This framework reminds you it's not about being clever, it's about being clear. Frameworks have really influenced the way I do business and the way I think about content when I'm trying to reach the right audience. I have pace. So, we're going to dive into the PACE method. I created this when I realized how many business owners were showing up online with so much heart and zero system. And that's not shade, it's reality. Now, they were burnt out not because they didn't care, but because they were doing it all without direction. PACE is what I use with my clients now to bring everything back into alignment. And here's what it stands for: purpose, audience, credibility, and execution. Purpose: why are you showing up online? What's the transformation you offer? I truly believe that we all have a story and that our businesses exist for a reason. There is a purpose behind it. And we have to make sure that when we show up online, we're operating in that purpose. Now, audience, who are you really speaking to? Not demographics, not desires. What are they struggling with right now? And how can you meet them where they are? And I have an entire method that will help you identify your audience and meet them where they are. Now, credibility. Why should they trust you? Like, we just met. If we just met, do you really think we're going to go get married tomorrow? No. You have to give people a reason to trust you. This is where we tap into social proof, case studies, and honestly, just listening, as well, as crazy as it may sound. And then the last little bit here is execution. How do you consistently show up in a way that works for your life and your leadership? This isn't about hustle, it's about rhythm. This is where I firmly believe that having systems, frameworks, and anything else to support what you're trying to do. Systems support life. A friend said that to me once, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to hold on to this forever because it's true. Systems support life. Okay, so I created Pace because I was tired of watching brilliant leaders chase trends or get overwhelmed with posting, not because they couldn't do it, but honestly because they didn't have a system to anchor their message. So it's not a plug and play content calendar, it's a clarity tool. It's a way to lead your online presence like the CEO you are. It's a holistic approach. It really combines Donald Miller, hey, let's make sure we know what we're saying and who we're saying it to, how are we saying it, and what we want the transformation to be. And then the freedom that Shannon provides and the lens of, hey, you've got heard, humor, we've got helpful, and we've got happenings, right? It gives you a lens to think through when it comes to creating content. But the approach that I created with the PACE method, it really helps you bring everything into alignment. I'm all about purpose and I'm all about intentionality. So I would definitely say the PACE method, it's an intentional approach to growing your online presence. So here's how they all work together. 4H will give you creative flow, a way to show up in different dimensions of your brand. The story brand gives you structure so that your message isn't lost in a sea of noise. And PACE brings it all together, aligning your why, your who, your credibility, and your how. So together, these frameworks take you from random posting energy to strategic visibility. And that's what you need when you're building something that lasts. You don't need to show up more, you need to show up better. And these tools help you do exactly that. All right, let's review what we covered today. We talked about 3 powerful frameworks that will help you create with purpose and show up with confidence. Number 1, the 4H method: heard, helpful, humor, happenings. It gives you a simple rhythm to create content that's real, relatable, and relevant. It's not just for reels, it works across your entire online presence. Number 2, the StoryBrand framework. Your audience is the hero and you're the guide. When you clarify the problem, offer a plan, and call them to action, your message sticks. Remember, if you confuse, you lose. And number 3, the PACE method: purpose, audience, credibility, and execution. This is the method I created for CEOs and founders who want to lead online with clarity. It's not just about content, it's about alignment, authority, and consistency. You don't need more ideas, you need a better filter. These frameworks are your filter. Use them together and you'll stop chasing content and start leading with it. So here's your next step. If you're listening to this thinking, okay, I'm ready to get strategic for real, I want you to grab my free guide, Unstuck Your Audience. It'll help you get crystal clear on your audience's journey and start showing up in a way that makes sense for them and you. You can find it in the show notes or you can grab it at my website. It'll help you get crystal clear on your audience's journey and start showing up in a way that makes sense for them and you. I'll be sure to link it all in the show notes so you can easily download it. And trust me, this is the beginning of content that finally works with your leadership instead of draining it. Listen, remember, frameworks don't box you in, they unlock you. They help you move with clarity instead of confusion. They turn your content from something you dread into something that builds credibility and connection every single time. So the next time you feel stuck, remember this: it's not that you're not showing up, it's that you haven't had the right framework to guide you, but now you do.
I hope today's episode reminded you that the work you're doing in your business matters. Your voice is powerful, your vision is needed, and your audience is already out there waiting to hear from you. If you want to keep the conversation going, come hang out with me over on Instagram at Alicia Everett. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your takeaways, or just cheer you on in whatever you're building. And if you haven't yet, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a review and rate the show. It helps me know what's resonating, what you're loving, and how I can keep delivering content that truly supports you. Until next time, keep showing up. Your audience is waiting.